Hey guys, welcome back to Tango Romeo 87. Anybody up for a little hike today? We're going to take a short hike today. It's about a 6-mile hike. It's a loop in the Blue Bend Recreation Area here in Monongahela National Forest that goes up and around the mountain up to the top. About 1,100 foot gain, about 6-mile hike. There's a shelter in the halfway point roughly, and that's my goal today, to check that shelter out and see if this could be a short overnight hike that Tracy and I can take at a better time. So let's get to hiking. Okay, here we are at the trailhead on the other side of the swinging bridge. You've got the Big Draft Wilderness, which is all part of Monongahela National Forest. And this trail up here is where we're at. We're going to go follow along Anthony Creek, and then we get up here, we got a series of switchbacks to get up that 1,100 feet. And that shelter should be about right here. After the shelter, we just follow along the ridge lines and back down. And we should come back down to about where we started at. You know, I'm walking along through here and I don't see any blazes, so I don't know that they actually blazed this trail with any color tags. Maybe just feel as you go, what I call a braille trail, where you just kind of feel yourself along. Man, you can really see the effects of the flood that came through here in our last video. This trail would have been unhikeable at that point because Anthony Creek would have been over it. It's cold out here. I got out of the truck, it was 28 degrees, and we're walking along a trail along the water way down in. I don't know if you can see, water's still frozen. Still got some snow patches along the mountain. Yeah. Nothing like winter hiking. But I think Tracy and I can camp on this trail if we can still get through it. Our first obstacle. At this point, I'm wondering how far we'll get on this trail today. We might have to abandon until we get the trail cleaned up. The flood was a little worse than I thought. Man, it's pretty out here today. Getting out in the wilderness. Ah, look at that. Really wasn't expecting all this ice on the trail. Well, dangerous, because this is a very narrow trail that runs along Anthony Creek. it was a little bit nerve-wracking at the beginning part of this. Just simply the ice. You might have a frozen footprint to step in, or you might have 1 inch of dirt that's frozen outside of the ice before you fall over the hillside. So, but it looks like it's improving now, and a lot less ice. Allergies are flaring up out here. There's a couple tight spots in here. Yeah, boy. I picked the right hike for today, didn't I? It's 30 degrees, but I'm burning up. This four-wheel drive hiking, I think I'll just go ahead and put my jacket down in the pack. I'm gonna put my ball cap on for a while. Don't want to start sweating too much. Well, we finally got away from the water. I stopped to check the map. We're about 1.5 miles in now. But, I don't know, something I didn't see earlier, and I'm hoping that I'm just reading the map wrong. But it looks like we're going to have to cross Anthony Creek over and back. And did I mention it's like 28, 29 degrees out here? We've never walked this whole trail. We've walked parts of it. So, I guess I'm gonna find out in a little bit. But I think we might be at the crossroads here. Let's see what we got. Okay. The Blue Bend Trail and the campground shelter up that way, and if you want to continue on to the Greenbrier River, you would have to cross Anthony Creek here and take this trail. Isn't too bad. Well, this isn't Anthony, so I'd say you'll cross this little stream, and then you'll go over there and cross over Anthony Creek to get to the Greenbrier River Trail. Greenbrier River's that way, and that's the Anthony Creek Trail. We're going to go ahead and start climbing the mountain and seeing how horrible this elevation is. This is a beautiful hike up the side of this mountain. Falling along this little feeder stream. Lots of little miniature waterfalls in it. But boys, we're climbing the goat path. Whew. Yeah. See, we come up here. And now we have to take the switchback, climb up the mountain further. Look at that view down there though. A little bit winded, but not too bad. Dang, this gets steep in spots. But you can see, we started way down there, and the mountain beside it goes clear up there. I don't even know if on video you can see how much difference that is, but I'm hoping like I'll get out right now that I'm not climbing to that height on this trail, or they may find my dead body at the top of it. Let's go. Let's see what it's about. Trying to make sure I've got good footing, but you don't want to get too close to the edge. Well, let's keep climbing, see if we can find out where the goats live. I am actually out of breath right now, slightly, but started way down there. I don't know if you can even see how the trail comes, and came up at a really steep incline. What made it so difficult was there was places that the old dried leaves were as deep as my knees and slick. So a lot of balance, a lot of trudging, a lot of small steps, high cadence instead of just taking a good hike up a hill. Now, looks like the leaves are gone. We'll go up here, and according to the map, we got a couple more switchbacks because it gets real steep. And we should be on top of this mountain with about a little over 1,100 foot of elevation gain, probably over this last mile. So, don't know that I'd call it a beginner trail, but if you're a beginner, as long as you take your time and take breaks, bring plenty of water, hydrate good, you should be able to do this okay. It's a 6 mile hike. Just take your time. I'm gonna trudge on up the mountain. Battery's about to die, so maybe when I find that shelter, I'll switch batteries out and rejoin y'all. But for now, I'm just gonna start trucking back up the mountain. Man, you better know how to climb a mountain. I've climbed straight up for 2 miles. Trail continues on that way. Right over here is the overnight shelter. So we're about 3 miles into this. I'm gonna head over there and get some lunch. This is a nice shelter. Nice overnight place, got a big deck in it. Got some people that carve their names in it, but people have to do that. And we're near the top of the mountain. And yeah, we did what I said I hoped I didn't do, is we climbed as high as that mountain opposite of us earlier in the video. And man, I mean, I feel like a mountain goat. I've been in the house too much this winter, not out riding my bike or hiking. And I kind of felt that in places. Them loose leaves were bad. And then I got lost for about 20 minutes because the trail clearly goes this way. And you get there and there's no more trail. And you backtrack and you can see where cut back in a switchback, and I missed it. Looks like a lot of people have. Let's get some lunch in us. And dude, I believe if it were a Saturday instead of a Sunday, I would have packed all my gear in and just spent the night up here. It's so beautiful up on this mountain. And I like how they built this shelter down below the top of the mountain where you kind of break the wind a little bit. But this would be a outstanding thing. So Tracy and I will be back to camp here before it gets too spring, too warm. So let's eat. Put my jacket back on. Got a little chilly up here. Now, speaking of chilly, the food that I eat out on the trail is freeze dried, but I don't buy those expensive meals because Tracy has a freeze dryer. So while she's making candy and all that, she makes my meals and her meals if she's going to be out camping, so that we can save a fortune. And this way I get to eat the things that I like to eat at home. It works just the same as freeze-dried food you buy. I don't know how well you can see it. This is chili con carne with beans and tomatoes, and you can see I'm just going to rehydrate this real quick and let it sit for 5 minutes. I don't know that I was ready for that mountain, and we're not done climbing the mountain. I've said to myself a couple times, does this thing just go up forever? Man, what a mountain. I'm dying to eat, and I really got to get on the game. I started a little late. I didn't start till afternoon, and it's probably around 2 o'clock now, and it'll get dark at 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I've got to be off this mountain, and I've got about 3 miles to go, but the majority of it now is going to be downhill. Boys, let me tell you something. When your wife is an expert cook and you can bring her food out on the trail, I mean, just look at that. All hydrated up. And it tastes exactly like it did when it came out of the pot fresh the first night. I like to eat chili, or I like to eat chicken meals when I'm out on the trail. A lot of protein in it, a lot of energy. Make it almost to the top of the mountain. We probably got another 100 foot in elevation maybe, and we'll be at the top. And then we'll drop down, and we should come right back to where we started at. But let me get my food eaten and get packed up and get back on the trail. Thank goodness. We have finally reached the geographical top of this trail. As you can see here, we're right at that peak. We came up, and came up a lot. We are even with the mountains around us, which was what my fear was. Maybe a little bit of a peak, but we're on top of the world here in Greenbrier County. Now I've got about 3 miles, mostly downhill, and I'm unaware of what that trail looks like. So hopefully it's in better shape and there's not a lot of trees down and not a lot of ice on it. But I'm gonna make my way down. I'll check in with you from time to time if I see something interesting, but I'm gonna try to beat feet and get somewhere. I'm not going to close this out with a big sit down video like I typically do. Let me adjust this pole. Bring y'all in a little closer. Sorry, the images are probably a little bit weird today because the camera's been on super wide, so I could get in as much of the... Let me tell you something. Blue Bend State Recreation Area in Monongahela National Forest. Guys, just like most of Monongahela National Forest, has so much to offer. This is why Tracy and I decided we were moving to Greenbrier County, close to Pocahontas line, when we decided to move back from the beach. Because the outdoor activities are just phenomenal. Now, I had the mountain goat today, and my legs are tired. Yesterday, Tracy and I did maybe a little bit longer of a hike, or the same, on the Allegheny Trail, and climbed some stupid amount of elevation over there too, which eventually gets to your calves because you're going up these goat passes, and they're not 3% all the time. I think that was what killed me on this one. You start out with some really nice switchbacks and some steep grade, then level a little bit, steep grade, and then the last half of that stupid thing, probably a mile of it, was just 2, 3, jump to 4, 2, 3, just constant slow uphill. And I was never so happy to see the camping station up there. You can see here at Blue Bend, they've got campgrounds that are open, seasonal campgrounds. They have bathhouses. I mean, you rent the campsite. They also have 4 dispersed sites right along Anthony Creek that you can just pull up and camp at. Don't bring a camper, because these are walk-in sites, a little pull off on the side of the road, and you walk down along Anthony Creek and camp real nice. But they've got picnic tables scattered through the woods. They do a really good job of maintaining Monongahela National Forest, and I haven't seen any changes in it with the recent arguments of, and I don't want to get into that. I haven't seen any changes. I mean, these storms came through, and people were out here and cut these trees, and I give this trail, for a 6-mile trail, I mean, if you're wanting that, I give it a 10 out of 10 on enjoyment. I give it a difficulty level of, for me anyway, 5 out of 6. It could have been more difficult, but I'm telling you, some of that switchback goat pass stuff was uphill, and maybe it'd be a 4 out of 6 if I hadn't have done the Allegheny yesterday. But it wore me down a little bit. I mean, I made it, and now I'm headed back home. I don't want to, but guys, this Blue Bend Loop, and I showed you in the video, you could take a different way at the end and cross over Anthony and walk over the mountain and come out down by the Greenbrier River Trail at the bridge that crosses over. But man, fishing, so many people fish Anthony Creek because they stock it. I've been watching the stock trucks run for the last couple of weeks, just dumping a trout into it. Well, I better get home and get ready for work tomorrow. That's gonna be easier than this, but I wouldn't mind doing this for a living. But I got to get out of here, and I'll leave you with the blue hole. We've seen it before. This is where everybody swims and fishes. I think they built this big rock beach back in the 50s, 40s. Been there ever since. Let's go home. Get out and hike, guys. I'm gonna be doing more camping, hiking, bike packing, sharing with you what works and what doesn't, and taking you on adventures with us. So make sure you subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. I'm out of here. Peace out.